Alexis on the beat.
E Mungu nguvu yetu, ilete baraka kwetu, na utupe ujasiri, tutashinda. Mana mzigo tumebebeshwa ni mzito, wanaongeza tena uzito. Wakenya rise up, huwaga very bad, huwaga noma. Tuliowachagua wametutoka, waliuza sera wakatuchocha. Woi, huwaga very bad, huwaga noma. Tuliowachagua wametutoka, bei ya vitu imepanda vinoma. Woi, Wakenya wake up, oh yeah yeah. Kina mama wake up, oh yeah yeah. Vijana wake up, it's time to rise up, rise up. Everybody wake up, oh yeah yeah. Kina baba wake up, oh yeah yeah. Gen Z wake up, it's time to rise up, rise up.
So this is the Nadia Mukami speech. I think this is what it will be called many years baadaye. It is a freestyle. I'm just speaking my mind. Never done this, actually. Because Kenya, we are in a journey. And this is a journey towards total liberation. And this journey continues to just inspire and shape our destiny. And I am going to speak as an African woman and give a shout out to all the people who've fought so hard for our civil rights. They've led movements for social justices. We have someone like Jomo Kenyatta. We have someone like Jaramogi. We have someone like Dedan Kimathi, Achieng' Oneko. Oh my God, all these amazing people. They have laid the foundation for the freedoms that we enjoy today. So I stand on the shoulders of these giants, and I carry the legacy in my heart and dreams in my actions, you know? So I have seen the faces of determination in us Kenyans. You know, the passion for education in young boys and girls. The way our mothers have unwavering support. And our mama zetu to support for a better future. And these are just stories of resilience. Of course, this journey towards the total liberation is not easy. Kuna changamoto kadhaa, si hata kadhaa nyingi. There's poverty, discrimination, kuna violence, and the major one, systematic inequalities. But, you know, in the face of all this adversity, as I would call it, we've not faltered. So, us as Kenyans, us as the future, and even for our kids, we need to rise up time and time again. We have to educate our sons and daughters, the challenged oppressive systems, and build communities that are rooted in love and solidarity. And that is the major thing that we need to celebrate. This is a journey that is filled with hope and promise. But most of all, let us celebrate our achievements, honor our heroes, and work together to ensure that the future is bright for every Kenyan boy and girl.
Wakenya wake up, oh yeah yeah. Kina mama wake up, oh yeah yeah. Vijana wake up, it's time to rise up, rise up. Everybody wake up, oh yeah yeah. Kina baba wake up, oh yeah yeah. Gen Z wake up, it's time to rise up, rise up.
Alexis on the beat.
E Mungu nguvu yetu, ilete baraka kwetu na utupe ujasiri, tutashinda. Mana mzigo tumebebeshwa ni mzito, wanaongeza tena uzito. Wakenya rise up, huwaga very bad, huwaga noma. Tuliowachagua wametutoka, waliuza sera wakatuchocha. Woi, huwaga very bad, huwaga noma. Tuliowachagua wametutoka, bei ya vitu imepanda vinoma. Woi, Wakenya wake up, oh yeah yeah. Kina mama wake up, oh yeah yeah. Vijana wake up, it's time to rise up, rise up. Everybody wake up, oh yeah yeah. Kina baba wake up, oh yeah yeah. Gen Z wake up, it's time to rise up, rise up.
So this is the Nadia Mukami speech. I think this is what it will be called many years baadaye.
Plenty killing from my life, now you I choose. I don't dey wonder if you everything I cruise. If I do you wrong, my baby boo, I'm sorry. You say I get too many girls, that's all a story. But now you in my mind, I swear, say now you in my mind. I swear I know the lie, I dream about you all the time. Cause girl, you blow my mind, and I know 59. Girl, you do me bad, yeah. Oh, get you, oh, get you, come on. No, my baby, okay, come on, come on. Lulu fair, no kulai, I need your love for me. I'm even Ganyeki, you'll be moving, money, my God. Pretty in your love is all I do for the living. I tempted to touch your foreign booty. If I kill him all, still the love like that. Till you full of love for back. Oh baby, this love is real. I give you all my body, I'm official. Don't I'm like Oba, boy I got my shot. Yeah, you forgot that, but I don't say you like her. Mani magali, let her dollar ma. But around to make us spray you on my dollar now. Parade for my body, yeah. Top my ground to make it on my baby. Oh, Gechi, come on. Anyway, baby, oh, come on. Olólùfẹ́ Adébọ́lá, I need your love, I need your love, I need your love, I need your love. Hey. Ogechi, come on. Okay, come on. Olólùfẹ́ Adébọ́lá, I need your love for me. Ami fem genyeki obi muhi mani maka. Ogechi, come on. Okay, come on. Olólùfẹ́ Adébọ́lá, I need your love for me. Ami fem genyeki obi muhi mani maka. Plenty killing from my life, now you I choose. I don't dey wonder if you everything I cruise. If I do you wrong, my baby boo, I'm sorry. You say I get too many girls, that's all a story. But now you in my mind, I swear, say now you in my mind. I swear I know the lie, I dream about you all the time. Cause girl, you blow my mind, and I know 59. Girl, you do me bad, yeah. Oh, Gechi, come on. No, my baby, okay, come on.
Hello. Good morning, ladies. Please, can we all hear me okay? Can someone please help confirm? in the chat. Can we all hear me? Okay. Uh, Debbie, can you hear me? Okay. Oh, awesome. All right, I just wanted to confirm because I have this big headset on and it's my first time using it, so I wasn't sure. All right. Hello, ladies. We are finally live for the SCA Mid-Year Tech Symposium. Yay! I'm very excited. It's been a long time coming, plenty planning, and we're finally here today. And I am super excited with the lineup of speakers that we have. The exciting things they have to share with us. And I sincerely do hope that, you stay till the end, right? My name is Mary Blessing, Community Manager at Chico Africa. I'm going to be your host for today and your moderator for the panel session. So just real quick, we'll be using, as we all know, we're all streaming from YouTube. So while we converse, let's please be respectful while we converse with other people in the chat, right? Then, secondly, I would like to give us a quick run through of today's schedule. So this is the welcome address by my humble self. And next up, we'll be having a lightning talk presented by Deborah Fatoki. She has an interesting topic she'll be presenting to us today. Then we'll be having our second lightning talk as well. Then, as promised, we collected some products and projects some of the queens have been building or are building, and we'll be showcasing that as well. Unfortunately, none of them will be able to present live, so we have collected the video and we'll be showing us as well in the course of today's events. Then we'll be having the third lightning talk, then a brief break, right, for 5 minutes. We encourage that you hang around still. Then our panel session. Then we'll be having our keynote speaker. We have to put that at the last so that you can stay to the end. So our amazing founder will be giving us a keynote on something very, very interesting, and hoping that it sparks something in you to push forward at a time like this. Then we'll be having a brief game. Then we'll close for today. Lastly, we have a workshop holding today by the amazing Dolakbo. For those of us who registered for the machine learning workshop, that session would be facilitated by Dolakbo and would be moderated by our amazing machine learning channel lead, Jade Sola, and we really hope to see you there because it's just super packed, right? So just so we get right into it, I hope you loved my music. And once again, SCA stands with Kenyan Queens at this time, and we really, really hope that everything is settled and everything goes back to normal. We are sending you all love and big hugs, right? So yeah, right about now, I'm just going to bring our first speaker, Deborah Fatoki, up stage so that she can take us to the the amazing journey she has for us today. Hi Deborah, how are you doing today?
I'm very well, thank you. Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, sure, I can.
Okay, yeah. Thank you, Mary Blessing,
Awesome.
for that. Thank you so much. I'm really excited to be the very first face you guys are seeing for this mid
Yay, and she's wearing pink,
mid-year
our color.
topic
Yay. And let's see if we all through and through.
all throughout. Welcome everyone. I really hope we have an exciting conversation this morning. Good morning, wherever you're calling from. I'm calling from Ogun State. I'm here from Ogun State, Nigeria, and I have just 25 minutes to sort of, bring our spirits up and talk about a topic I think is very dear to me personally. And I hope we have a great time. So, first things first, I would like this to be a bit interactive, even though we're online. At least it will be interactive, and so I'll be watching the comment sections and be asking a few questions, and just thumbs up, heart emojis, and all those things as interactions. Once again, good morning, and I'm excited to be the very first voice and face you're seeing. And my topic or my this lightning talk is a very short one. It's just building um, tech solutions for a better Africa, that is coding with a purpose. Again, it's a topic that I think is very important, but somehow rarely discussed. We sort of push it to the back of our heads when we are thinking or talking about the tech industry in general. So we need to revisit the way we usher people into the industry. Especially in Africa, in Nigeria, we are really riding on the wave of technology, of artificial intelligence, which is good, but there's a huge, misinterpretation or misconception that it is just here for you to come amass wealth, and that that's all that it's here to do, to just take advantage of it, to be a consumer rather than just being a producer of technology, but there's nothing wrong with wanting money and a lot of it. Trust me, the world, revolves around money. There's nothing wrong, but that is not all that there is to be to your tech career, especially as a young lady in Africa. As a young person, young woman in Africa, and that's not just all that there is to you. Just bank figures and lines of code. And since this is a technical session, so I will be looking towards more of, yeah, okay, I'll present my slides. Yeah, let's do that. Um, yeah, all right. So if you can see my screen, maybe let me, can you see my screen? All right, yeah, awesome. So yeah, as I was saying, just like a brief introduction as to what the essence of this topic is: coding with purpose and building tech solutions for a better Africa. We should look beyond the picture of just building a tech career. And oh, thank you. Yes, thank you, Afi, Patience. Yeah, thank you very much. We should look beyond just building a tech career, but more to impacting our societies, more to impacting our communities with these technical skills and solutions that we have and that we have amassed and we have learned, in this industry. Not just be consumers of the industry and just building off of what has been built, but also creating, solutions for all of the some of the problems that we are currently facing in Africa. And there are lots of problems in Africa, in Nigeria to be specific, and we should. This technology is such an important tool, is such a great tool to be solutions to some of those problems, which takes me to my next point. Just yeah, tech as a tool. Truth be told, technology has become an inseparable part of our lives, changing the way we live, communicate, work, and even think. Technological advancements have spurred humanity forward. 10, 50 years ago, there were no such things. Conversations as this were not possible. Literally, they were not possible because of there were no platforms that were built to do such. But now that we have these tools, that we have this knowledge of technology, of how it can better our lives, we should build off of on that, and not just be consumers of this technology, but also learn to use this to build more for the future generations that are coming. And so tech is an incredible tool for change, for innovation. So why not take this incredible tool that has the power to literally change lives and create something much more superficial? Like I said, there's nothing wrong with wanting money in this industry, and a lot of it. I personally want money. I want a lot of it. But we can look beyond that perspective and also build something that is so much more superficial as to just yourself, thinking outside of just yourself. So that begs the question that what even is the power of technology? What has technology done, and what is the essence of it in general? I'm sure a few points are already coming to your mind as you're listening to this now. It's not entirely a strange concept. Like I said, this conversation will not be possible without the power of technology. So I don't need to start defining what is power, what is technology for us to understand it. A quick Google search, which is on the technology, can help you with that. Um, yeah, thank you. So a quick Google search can just help you with that. And so technology, like we say, is from the great Olaf. I don't know if you guys have watched Frozen. The wisdom of Olaf said, technology is both our advancing technology is both our savior and our doom. So let's break down what is the purpose of technology and why is it important. If you think in the back of your head that, oh, okay, technology, you're coming into tech as a young woman in Africa and you have this ultimate 5-year plan, pick up a tech skill, get good at it, learn React, learn Node.js, learn TypeScript, learn product design, learn machine learning and all these other, technical things, build your portfolio, network, build everything, build brand, personal branding, like they say on the streets of LinkedIn, land your first job in 3 to 6 months or 8 months, and then earn $1,000, rinse and repeat. If that what you think is the power of technology in your head, I beg you to rethink that, to reassess that's your 5-year plan, that's your 5 months, 10 month plan, and just think outside of yourself. The power of technology, for connection and against isolation. Like I said, this conversation will not be happening if some people did not sit down somewhere and think that I need to talk to someone that's across the country. How can I do that? So according to Kelly Brown, an IT professional and assistant professor for the practice of University of Oregon, he highlights in his paper that was published on the power of technology, highlights that technology is a tool to connect those that will be otherwise isolated. So, like I said, that now the first thing that should come to your mind is social media. Since the birth of social media, as great as a tool that it is, it has become one of the leading causes of self self-confidence issues and isolation in young teens and preteens that are currently on it. That's not like trying to scare you or anything, but just telling you the power that technology has over the society, over individual lives, and also technology has also been a huge tool in security. I mentioned technology in connection and isolation and against isolation, and then technology in security. I want to do something very practical now. By a show of hands, just you can give a thumbs up. How many of you know someone or who you personally have been scammed on the internet? With the adoption of that, is going to be quite a lot. I know. I know personally lots of people that have been scammed on the internet. I won't lie. So technology that has been used for many ways to enforce security is also has a loophole as to a medium for cybercrime. So not to scare you once again, but just telling you that technology is a powerful tool. It is very, very powerful. Whatever power you think it had before, just double that in your mind and let it sink in your power. So the third one that I'm going to look at is for inclusivity and accessibility. So technology also has been a great tool in inclusivity and accessibility over the years. There are so many features on your phones, on your mobile phones, on your laptop that help the blind to read, the blind to listen. Your Siri, your Alexa, and inclusive and accessible features of your devices that were thought of as a result of, okay, some people were having some problems somewhere and then a solution was provided to them. People that cannot type, that for some reasons maybe they're handicapped, they are displaced, they are blind, for some reasons they cannot access a mobile phone or a smartphone like you naturally would. And then these features were created to help, them with their journey. So technology has also been for inclusivity and accessibility. That's the power of technology. So not everyone is born to be a hero. I can bet with you that the persons that thought of voice to text features, like I just mentioned, was not really trying to cure cancer or save children in the Sahara Desert or something. And when people see building for a better Africa, that's what you first think of. Oh, go and look for children in Sahara Desert and train them in technology. It's fine. It's good. That's good. That's also a means of building for a better Africa. They were probably not people that they were probably not thinking of how to get money from this. Someone that created the feature of it were not, I don't think they were thinking of how to make $1,000, $50,000 from it. They were probably thinking of that one person that they would love to keep in contact with, and for some reason the person cannot physically interact with software or hardware in the case may be. So, and then they created a solution for it. I'm imploring you this morning to think outside of yourself and think of solutions that you can prove, that you can give, that will be building for a better country, for a better Africa and Nigeria in general. So what happened to innovation? Like these things that I've mentioned are innovative ideas of some people somewhere. What happened to it? Is it lost in this our time? The people just keep building on top of the base that has been created 50 years ago? Is there is there anything new and substantial at the moment? Like what happened to innovation? And like I said, we're discussing why is building tech solutions important. So why is building tech solutions important? That will answer the question of what happened to innovation. So we need to address critical social issues, enhance and social issues, like I mentioned in the case of isolation and depression in teens and preteens. There are many, many ways that we can create solutions that will be addressing those issues and will reduce the statistics of this pandemic. Addressing critical social issues, enhancing education, healthcare, and sustainability. This cannot be overemphasized, especially in Africa, that our education, our healthcare, and sustainability is lacking. It needs more attention, it needs more technology, it needs more digitalization. I'd like you to visit a public healthcare tomorrow or whenever you're free and see how cavemen like it still is. You see heaps of files and folders that they are still using to find one person's name. There is no digitalization of the industries in many parts of Nigeria, in many parts of Africa. So what happened to innovations in these areas, and also in empowering women and communities, which is what we're literally doing on this platform? What happened to, where is innovation? What is the problem? Why are these issues still persisting? Why has it not been addressed? Because over 16 million, over 160 million people, hold on, over 160 million Africans have gained broadband internet access between 2019 to 2020. And this 115% increase in the internet use, like I said, Africa, we are jumping on the trend of getting access to internet, to technology. So what is stopping the innovation? Since we have all these statistics, 191 million additional individuals have received or made a digital payment in 2014 to 2021. And Africa is even way for technology, but our adoption of technology and artificial intelligence for social and economic impact can be a lot better, should be told. The adoption of the technology itself, not just, learning with it, not just learning AI engineering, prompt engineering system, adopting the technology and building with it, even across Web3, across Web2 and layer 2 and layer 3 technology, we are still seeing a huge hole in adoption that as compared to consuming of the technology. So we really need to start building. And like Maya Angelou said, do the best you can until you know better. And then when you know better, do better. So these things are here right now, but you know, we need better. We need to do better. And so what then do we do? What then can be done about this? We've stressed that, oh, okay, this is a loophole, this is a gap hole. What is the way forward? How do we nip this in the bud and start a trend of innovation back in Africa, in Nigeria? So, okay, like I said, there are a list of issues: security, food scarcity, especially in Nigeria, food scarcity, my goodness, health emergencies, and even gender bias. Those are the areas that are the forefront of focus of when you think about Africa and Nigeria. Those are the things that you know that okay, it's really lacking. So those are the things that you build solutions for, and you build technological solutions for. And how do we do this? Like I said, nothing is new under the sun. Some of these things have been done before. And like, how do we continue the trend of innovation? I'll share a story that I heard, that the origin of Chowdeck, if you know Chowdeck, Chowdeck is a food delivery service, was during the COVID. The founder was sick and quarantined, and food deliveries to his areas were almost non-existent. So what did he do? He solved the problem. I'll mention another list of innovative ideas that has come from Africans, that has come from Nigerians, and even Kenyans across West Africa, that have been tools that have been that they've used technology as tools to build solutions for their communities. So first, I also mentioned Thrive Agri. Thrive Agri is a network of profitable farmers across Nigeria solving the issue of food scarcity. You know, learning platforms like Andela, um, uh, MShul, which is an offline resource for children who don't have access to technology in certain parts of Kenya, via SMS. You know, they have an AI-driven platform via SMS that is using the the AI technology and creating something that is impacting their social community. Digital health services like Babel, which is an healthcare service through media phones in other remote consultations areas for advice, you know, and Pedigree, which verifies pharma products via text messages. These are really great innovative ideas that have been born out of Africa. Sure, the next fintech startup is okay for you to build. You know, in Nigeria, we have a spread of them, fintechs all over. It's okay. It's okay to do it. You know, get an idea, their new products, clones of each other, literally everywhere you turn, build projects and do all that, and then you get your money. But you can do so much more, especially as young women in the industry. You can do so much more when it comes to building, especially for technology in Nigeria. So that leads me to your edge as a woman. They say women are too empathetic, women have mood swings. There are few stereotypes that have been charged at us for since time immemorial. But how can we use this as an advantage to, you know, build technical solutions for a better Africa? What to do? If you're a critical thinker, I think some ideas may be turning in your head currently. So I have an acronym here for when they say women are too empathetic, I say women are unique, which and U stands for we unleash potentials, N stands for nurtures innovation, I stands for inspires change, Q stands for quest for excellence, U stands for understands diversity, and E stands for empowers future. These are the acronym that I use, you know, to attack those that say, oh, women are too empathetic, women are this, women are that. They are not supposed to be leading forefront of innovation and ideas. That's totally wrong. So there's a better way to do something. Find it. There's a better way out there. So what to do? It is more than your career. Be the change that you want to see. Like Gandhi said, do not just complain about your failing economy. There are failing things in Nigeria. Everything is failing. It's failing. How have your tech and coding skills helped these failing systems? Don't just grumble about data and human security. How are the existing technologies used to be optimized by it? In Nigeria, we know that, oh, my time is up. In Nigeria, you can see that there is a big issue, especially during the time of voting and data management of the people in Nigeria. We do not even have a real census. I was not counted in the last census that they did. So there is a issue of data management, and we have data managers being graduating from boot camps every day, every minute, everywhere you turn. Oh, I'm a certified data analyst. What have you done with your data? Is it just to just work in one fintech? Is it to just work in one ed tech? You can do so much more than that. Think of how AI has impacted medicine. When people think of AI, do you just think of, oh, it's going to take our jobs? AI, students are using it to cheat in their exams. Think of AI in medicine, how robotics have helped the lives of people that were impacted during the war, how AI works in your phones for those that cannot see, those that cannot talk. These are innovative ideas that have been born out of technology. And finally, community. Thank goodness that for SCA, there are string tellers of women across Africa. And I would literally have to say a big thank you to them, because without communities, like without people like SCA and communities like SCA who have made it their vision and mission to really train women in technology, I will not be personally where I am in my career at the moment. There's so much more than just you. And I'm thankful for the founder of She Code Africa, Ada, that she understood this and did something about it. She saw that women are not spoken enough for in the industry, and she did something about it. She solved that problem, and today thousands of women are being celebrated because of that. So my hypothesis, let me quickly round up because I'm taking so much more time. This is not a call for heroism. You don't have to be a hero. This is not a call that you should create new technology to cure cancer, or you should go into robotics. If you can, if you want to, that is wonderful. It's not a call to save 100,000 students, children in Sahara, like I mentioned before, but be unconventional. If somebody didn't think about smartphones, about the user interface, you're a UI designer, you're a UX designer. If somebody didn't think of, okay, we can replace buttons with a screen and it will work fine, you will not be able to have smartphones. If somebody didn't think of Skype, didn't think of Google Meet, StreamYard, YouTube, this video conferencing will not be possible. Follow through. Many problems will show up. Discouragement from people. Like I said, there are many stereotypes and biases in the industry against women. Use it instead. You are unique, like I said, for the acronym. You are unique, and that's what just makes it right. That's what makes it right. There will always be something that can be better, especially in Africa. Please build for Africa, build as an African, build for Nigeria, build as a Nigerian. Thank you very much for listening to me. Hi, Mary Blessing. I'm so sorry I took so much more time.
Yeah, no worries at all. I figured that we needed to probably hear the last part. So no worries at all. You did so amazing. Thank you so much for that wonderful presentation. I hope
Thank you.
ladies in the other side, they are paying attention and taking notes as well. Thank you so much, Deborah. Thank you so much. All right. So okay, ladies, so we are going to now introduce our next speaker. Like I said when I was running through our schedule, so we'll be having two lightning talk, right? Then we are going to now move on to other activities as well. But right about now, we'll be having Messi Onyelude. Messi Onyelude, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Oh my God. And Messi is going to be taking us on an amazing topic titled Green Software from the Perspective of a Front End Engineer. Whoosh. For every one of us who are front end engineers here, you really want to stay for this session. And I'm going to be bringing Messi up stage now shortly. Yeah, there she is. Hi, Messi. Um, I don't think we're able to hear you. Can you say something?
Hello, can you hear me now?
Oh yeah, I can, but it's faint. Can you try speaking up?
Oh, how about now? Much better? Not
Um,
quite.
mm, yeah, you just have to try speak up a little bit. so that.
Okay. Wow. That's. How about now?
Okay, I think this is
I'm
this is
actually using a
okay.
Bluetooth. I'm using a Bluetooth mic, so I'm trying
Oh,
to see if it is. That might be the issue. But is it
okay.
better?
Yeah, I think I can. And I'm hoping ladies on YouTube can also hear you very well. All right, so I think you can go on. Yeah, you should go on. All right, so
All
I mean,
right.
you have the stage now.
Okay. Thank you. Hello. Hello. How's everyone doing this morning? I'm glad to be here. Thank you, Mary Blessing, for the introduction. I believe that we enjoyed the previous talk with Deborah. Well done, Deborah. Thank you for that sharing. All right, so today we'll be speaking on green software from the perspective of a front end engineer. I'm very excited to be speaking on this topic. So, just a quick introduction about myself. My name is Messi Oyelude, and I'm a front end engineer. Um, I work here in Lagos, Nigeria, at a global distribution system company. And of course, I'm a green software advocate and a lover of the Young Sheldon series. I'm sure some of us might have heard of that before or not, but it's a lovely series you can check out. Okay, so I'll just run us through what we'll be covering today. And the first part is what green software is all about and why green software. Also, the practical ways to implement these green software principles in front end, plus a little bit bonus, extra bonus for non-technical personnel. All right. So, what is green software? Yeah. So, I want you to comment in the chat with your favorite emoji if you have come across green software, sustainability software, or something of such before. Right. Now, let me ask you, what comes to your mind when you hear the word green? The green software, just like it says, green. You could think of nature, you could think of the environment. So, green software is a method of building software in a way that minimizes environmental impact. So, in a nutshell, I would say being a green software developer shows in your training, in your practices, and how you implement your solutions, knowing the impact of your code in the long run. So I think of it as a mindset, obviously. All right, so sustainable or green software engineering, it is an emerging discipline at the intersection of climate science, software, hardware, and electricity markets, plus data science, center designs. So sustainability software hinges on six principles, and this is founded by the Green Software Foundation. The first part, the carbon efficiency. We have carbon awareness, of course, hardware efficiency. So carbon efficiency means emitting the least amount of carbon possible. Energy efficiency uses the least amount of energy possible. And carbon awareness, do more when the electricity is greener and do less when the electricity is dirtier. All right, so hardware efficiency use the least amount of embodied carbon possible, and measurement, what you can measure, you can really improve. So at the long run, your prowess and as a software developer, what distinguishes you is your ability to measure, to gauge what you're consuming, the amount of carbon you're consuming, and not only that, being able to reduce it to the barest minimum. So why green software? Well, first of all, just like I said, the environmental impact. So Software can consume significant energy, as you can tell. So by optimizing code and infrastructure as an IT person, we can reduce carbon emissions. Also, the economic benefit. So running and maintaining applications is very economical. It does not cost business that much. It reduces the amount, the operational cost, and every other bills related to your IT operations. And thirdly, the social responsibility. So companies adopting green software practices are showing a commitment to society to keep the society in the long run. So I'll have you know that Google, Microsoft, and Meta companies, a lot of 500 Forbes companies are want to be carbon free by 2030. So you could imagine, as a software developer, you are putting yourself on a very high advantage, trying to implement these practices and becoming a green software engineer. Okay, so what issues does green software addresses? What issues are there? According to the SDG goals, we have the climate. First of all, we have the SDG 13, the climate action, of course. So green software engineering directly contributes to mitigating climate change by reducing the energy consumption and the carbon emissions that are associated with software applications. So talking about SDG 7 as well, that's the affordable and clean energy. By improving energy efficiency, green software is supporting that goal to ensure access to affordable, reliable, sustainable energy for everyone. Also, the SDG 12, that's responsible consumption and production. Green software promotes sustainable consumption and production patterns. So it involves reducing electronic waste, optimizing data storage and transfer. All right, and lastly, we have the SDG 9, that's industry, innovation, and infrastructure. Green software fosters innovation by encouraging the development of new technologies and practices. So, from a front-end engineer's perspective, what does it mean to be green? It means optimizing code for performance and energy efficiency. So when I say green software engineer, green software developer, I want you to be rest assured that it might be practices that you are engaging in or implementing unknowingly, but right now it's best for you to know the impact of your skills, your decisions when you are coding. So these are things that you might be aware of, or you might not be aware of, or it's very good for you to be in the know. Our second is reducing data transfer and resource usage. Third, leveraging efficient algorithms and data structures. Fourth, minimizing unnecessary computations. Five, optimize images and other media. Six, optimize APIs to send only necessary data. So your request and your responses should not be jam-packed with a lot of back and forth. You should just, if it is not needed, you don't need to add it. All right, so what are tools and technologies that support this green software? We have the green hosting services. So you might want to implement or consider using hosting providers that run on renewable energy. Example of these are Green Geeks, EcoWeb hosting. We also have the performance monitoring tools. We have the Lighthouse that audits page performance and provides recommendations. We have the web page tester that offers detailed performance metrics. We also want to implement the Mozilla Firefox profiler that helps you to measure your CPU power usage and every other thing in between, which I'll be demonstrating later in this talk. Also, we have the static site generators. This we use Net.js to generate static sites that require less server processing and, of course, efficient JavaScript frameworks. Just like I said, it is something about like React, Vue for optimized performances. All right, just like Peter Drucker has said, can manage what you can measure. And Lord Kelvin says, if you can't measure it, you cannot improve it. All right, so this is a short analogy of me trying to measure the energy consumption of a website. And here I am using a tool called the Firefox Profiler. Right now, I'm starting the recording of the site and I'm trying to create some activity just by scrolling up and down. Now I'm trying to search for availability of that request, and now it has brought the response for me. So I'm still trying out some activity on the site just for more demonstration. Okay, so this is showing me more response. So I've stopped the recording now and it's going to generate the results for me. So right now, this is how it looks. This is not totally Java. It's just a visual display of the activity. So when I was on that site, when I was at that page or side of the landing page, this was the amount of energy and power it was consuming, right? So with this, you've been able to measure, and when you implement these practices that I've explained earlier, and then you go back to measure it, you will see difference. So I'm not showing all of that now, but I just wanted to give us a snippet of what it looks like. All right, so bonus tip for non-technical people, what can you do from here? First is that you can improve your growing literacy. This is a fast-growing field, so you should jump right on. It is something that the world will, businesses will be more
Hi, Messi. Are you still speaking? Oh, I think you might have lost Messi. Can anyone still hear her though? Oh, that's sad. I think we might have lost Messi. The network. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. I think we might have lost her. All right. So maybe we could just she's dropped off. Yeah. All right. All right. So we're just going to wait for her to get back, and I'm going to bring her back on stage. But in the meantime, I'm just going to um, play the videos of the projects that we're able to gather ahead of this project showcase, right? So we hope you enjoy it. All right. Messi is back. Hi, Messi. Hi, Messi. You're muted.
Oh, hey. I'm so sorry about that. I didn't
No, it's
realize my network
fine.
was off. It
No,
was,
it's
I just
fine.
finished my presentation and I was like, oh my God, I've been talking. Oh
I
boy.
mean, this is what happens to us in this part of the world. It's so sad,
Yeah, yeah,
but what can we
yeah,
do? All
right.
right. So yeah, you can just go ahead and present your screen, and we can just continue from where you left. So
Okay, all right.
and
Thank you for
yeah, you're doing amazing.
welcome. Yeah, all right. Okay, let me go back. Just a minute. Okay, so I was just analyzing the measurement of energy consumption on the website here, a use case actually for booking.com. And I'll just go over it again. Okay, so this is me using the profiler,
Hi, Mercy. I think you
the,
should speak up more. Yeah,
oh,
yeah, yeah.
all
Yeah.
right, okay. I think the mic hasn't gotten better. All right, so cool. This is me trying to capture my activity. I'm running an activity on a site just for me to be able to capture the power consumption, the energy consumption, and what have you from this website through the Firefox profiler. So right now, I'm trying to find availability for some hotels, which has been responding. Okay, cool. So right now I've stopped the recording and then it's automatically just generates this for you. All right, so this activity is showing that the power used at this particular time when I was scrolling up got a bit higher. So at this point, you are able to kind of like, you're able to measure, you're able to see where the power consumption got a bit higher, and by default, you should be able to find a way to reduce that. So, implementing the practices I explained earlier on, optimizing the code, the data structure, algorithm, minimizing your images, videos, you should be able to, by the time you come back to measure this, you should be able to see a different result. But I'm not going into that, but this was just to show us how it looked. Okay, so what can you do from here, whether you're a technical person or you're a non-technical person, is that you can improve your green literacy, right? You should go out there, research more about it. It's a rapidly growing field, so you're welcome to join us. I'm sure that you will love it because this is what the world will be talking about in the next couple of months, years. So it's very the right time for you to jump right in. Learn how to measure software energy efficiency. And this is not just for a front end engineer or a developer, for people in the DevOps, people in cloud services and backend as well. You should be able to learn how to do this because this will distinguish and differentiate you from a normal developer. Normal developer does not care about if this is going to impact the environment or not. Also, do research on this topic. So go online, LinkedIn, follow thought leaders, join in the conversation, just learn the basics, get a grasp of it, and move on from there. Also, learn the efficient software integration processes as well. Very important. So, here are some resources I uh, added here from the Green Software Foundation. Check out their website. They have a course on it as well. So, you should try to read through and you will be able to get the six fundamental principles. Also, Green Web Foundation, they have a website that you can run through and see what they have to offer. I left an additional read that you can check out. And that's an article I wrote just about few days ago, so you can jump on and get better insight on the topic. So thank you very much for your attention. I hope I was able to deliver a wonderful presentation. I am Mary Leslie. All right. Mary Blessing, I can't seem to hear. Okay. Seems like your audio was going on and off. That was my
Yeah, more like I've been muted. Oh, I'm so sorry, you all. All right, so I was just saying that looks like message session is into the product showcase time slot. So we'll just go ahead now and bring up stage our last lightning talk speaker for today. She has a more heavy presentation. So after that, we did go on a break, a very short break. Then we'll be having our panel session right after the break. So yeah, I am just going to bring up stage Praise Idowu. And Praise today will be talking to us about something also interesting. She'll be is it teaching us about authentication and authorization in modern software development. Hi, Praise. Are you ready for us today?
Hi, Miss Leslie. Yeah, I
Oh my
am.
God,
Good
everybody's
morning.
mic is so terrible today. Praise, you want to speak up a little bit more?
Can you hear me?
More? Just a tiny bit more.
Can you hear me now?
Hmm. Yeah, I'm just hoping that the ladies on the other end they can also hear you well. But yeah, I can try. All right. So
Okay, good day, everyone. Can you hear me?
yeah, I think that's fair.
Okay.
Ladies, can we all hear please? Can someone maybe say something in the chat? Just let us know um, the level of if you can all hear her. Oh, I'm not seeing anything in the chat. So I would take our silence for a yes. So praise, please, you have the floor. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. So I'm just going to share my screen.
Hi, please give me help right there to present your slide.
Yeah, thanks to load it.
Sorry?
Okay, it is now. Trying to load the slides. It is now. Okay, all right. Thank you.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so good day, everyone. So today I'm going to be talking about authorization and authentication in modern software development. So before I move on, I would like to introduce myself. So my name is Praise Ido and I am a backend engineer. So you can check me out on LinkedIn in the LinkedIn handle available on the screen. So for today's session, this is the session agenda for today. So we are going to be exploring authentication, authorization, permissions, and the what. So if time permits us, we are going to also look at our too. So yeah, before I move on, I want to say that I'm a bit anxious because I want to be able to break this down to if please do let me know in the chat. So talking about authentication and authorization, there is a lot of terminology when it comes to us on the web. Us on the web. So many people even confuse authentication with authorization. And as a result of this, a lot of companies they started to develop more sophisticated authentication strategies so as to improve cyber security. But what's authentication? Let's look at the next slide. So basically, authentication is the process of verifying the identity of a user. For example, before you let anyone in into your house, you have to know who the person is, right? You can't just let anyone just walk in into your house. You have to verify the identity of the person, that this is someone you know. So in the digital world as well, before you can access a website, the website has to verify your identity to know that okay, you are not just a visitor on this website, you are you are a user in this website. Of course, there are some certain things you can do in your website if you are not authenticated. Most of what you can do is just read only. But if you want to do things like you want to comment, you want to like posts, you want to perform transaction and any other stuff that has to do with you, using data and interacting with other users on the website, you have to be authenticated. And that's why when you want to perform some certain actions in a website, it will redirect you to a login page that you should either log in or sign up, because you can't access such resources without you being authenticated. So that's what authentication is all about, just to verify the identity of the user, to know that okay, you are who you claim to be, you are a verified user and you can access this website. So let's look at the purpose of authentication. It's to ensure that the entity is who they claim to be. And we have some common methods of authentication. We have the password-based authentication, we have the single sign-on, we have the multi-factor authentication, we have two-factor authentication, we have passwordless authentication, we have biometric authentication, and we also have the credential authentication. So let's take a look at each of the authentications. So the password-based authentication, this is the traditional method involving a username or email and password. So when you want to log into a website, it either asks you for your username or your email, then you input a password to be able to sign into that website. Okay. All right. So so let's look at cookie-based authentication. So when we are talking of sorry, So let's look at cookie-based authentication. When we are talking of password-based authentication, we have to talk about cookie-based authentication, and this mechanism utilizes HTTP cookies. Please hold on. So this kind of authentication, it utilizes HTTP cookies to maintain user authentication across multiple requests. So first of all, when a user log in, they submit their credentials to a server. So the question that is on your mind now is, what is a server? A server is another computer whereby, okay, for example, you from your phone, you send a request to a website, let's say Amazon.com. Your phone or the tab or the computer desktop, whatever device you are using, is the client. Now the client is interacting with the server. The server is where those resources you are requesting for is. So whatever you need you are going to get it from the server. So basically the client and the server, they are always communicating. Whenever you go to a website and you're trying to make a request, the client, which is your device, is communicating with a server on the internet. So basically, what you first do is that you submit your credentials to the server. Then the server will now validate the credential and create a session. Okay, so in the next slide, I'm going to explain what a session is. But let's just go on. So after submitting your credentials, you want to validate your credential, and the server is going to validate your credential and create a session. Then now this session is being stored, not a session entirely, this a session ID is being generated, and this session ID is being sent back to the user browser as a cookie. So just see a session as something, just see a session as something that is generated by the server. So now session ID is just some random unique identifier that is generated by the server, and it's given to the client in the form of a session ID. It's given to the client in the form of a session ID, and the client stores it in a cookie. And we are still going to look at the definition of a cookie in the next slide. But just know that a session is generated by the server, while a cookie is where the client, your device or whatever, stores the session ID. So basically, after it generates a session ID, it's stored in a cookie. Now, the browser will now send the cookie with each request, so that allowing the server to identify the user. So at this period, you don't need to keep on um, putting your username or password or email. So by with this session that the server has created, it identifies you. So each time you go back to and click on that website, it still keeps you logged in. So like I said, the server stores the session ID in the database. It can also store it in memory storage like Redis or cache, and it can also be in a file system. So it depends on the backend framework you are using. It determines or you can actually choose to store it in any of these. So yeah, so that is it about that. So let me go on to the next slide. Please, if my explanation is clear, please do let me know, because this is a more technical topic and I want my non-technical audience to also be able to understand. So please do let me know if my explanation is clear enough. So let me just summarize the cookie-based authentication. You submit your credential to the server, and the server validates your credentials and creates a session. Then the session is stored in a cookie. So in each subsequent request, the server is able to identify you with the session ID. So that is it about cookie-based authentication. So let's move on. Okay, so this is definition of a cookie. So a cookie is a small piece of data stored on the user browser, and the user browser is a client by the web server. It is used to remember information about the user, such as login status or user preferences. You must have experienced it so often, like when you log into a website, unless you log out for some certain time, it doesn't ask you to provide your username and password again. This is because the session has not expired. So basically, um when you log into a website, it creates a session for you. So that session is still there until you either log out or the session expires. So in the back end, we write some code that, okay, at a certain time, it can be in 30 days, it can be in 60 days, the session expires, and then you have to relog in again. But it also depends, because if you use an app like OPay, PalmPay, and the likes, you always have to, keep on providing your password and the likes, and it's it's actually done that way. The session quickly expires on time, and that is the reason is because this is a financial app, so they have to keep it secure. So you have to keep on, providing your password over and over again. But some websites that they don't, some other websites, of course, you have to, when you log in, you are logged in. But most of all these financial websites, you have to, keep on providing your password over and over again, intentionally done that way for security reasons. So I hope the concept of cookies is clear enough. So a cookie is just basically where the web server stores the session ID in the client browser. So let's look at the definition of a session. So a session is a temporary information interchange between a user device and a server, maintained through a unique identifier, often a session ID, which keeps track of user interaction and state across multiple requests. Okay, this definition is actually a lot. So I just want you to know that a session is just a temporary information interchange that occurs between the client and the server. And this session is being stored in the session ID. And the session ID is only known by the client, which the client keeps in the cookie. So this keeps track of the user interaction and state across multiple requests. So like I said, even if you close your browser, you're logged into your website. When you go back there, you don't need to provide your password again. It keeps you logged in unless you log out or the session expires. Um, I hope that aspect is clear as well. So let's move on to user registration example. So basically, when you register on a website, the first thing you do is to enter you need to enter your username or email and password. Then now when you enter your username and password, what goes on behind the scene? Your password is hashed using a secure hash function. So it can be bytecrypt or SHA-256. So basically, your password is not stored as plain text in the database. No, it is not. It is being hashed by an hashing algorithm. So even if this cyber theft they break into the system, all they see is an hash password, and so your password is not stored as plain text in the database. So this hash password is stored in the database, not the plain text password. So we are going to still talk data on hashing in the next slide. So basically what an hashing algorithm does is that it transforms the password into a fixed length string of characters which is not reversible. Okay, I know the question now that will be in your mind is that if it's not reversible, when I log in, how is it able to, compare the password is previously hashed with the one I enter now? How is it able to compare that? So we are going to talk about that soon. But just know that a a hash password is not reversible and it has a fixed length, and it is an hashing algorithm that helps us to transform the password into a fixed length of characters which is not reversible. So yeah, I don't know if I can play this here. Okay, this is a video, a short video I'm trying to play. uh, I'm not sure how this works. Can I play video here?
Hi,
Okay,
Prince. What help
i'm
would you
trying
need?
I'm trying to play this video. I don't know
Oh, you're trying
how.
to play a video.
Yes, on the slide.
Oh, I wish you sent that earlier. We would have played from there. Oh,
Okay,
it's not
okay.
playing, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Can you
yeah.
play directly from your computer? Like
Okay,
present your computer screen, playing the video.
okay. Let me see that.
But if that would take a lot of time, you might just want to move on.
Okay, I think I'm doing that now. Okay, so I just want to. Okay, so this is it. Just so you can see. So basically, this is me trying to sign up using the Django admin dashboard. So this is just a web interface that allows us to interact with data. So I just want you to see the practical. I just want you to see it so you understand better what I'm explaining as regards hashing and the like. So this is me providing a username and password. So after saving it, I'm just going to check it out, and yeah, so as you can see, the password has been hashed. It's not stored as plain text in the database. So anyone who sees this doesn't know what password I provided. So yeah, that is that is it. So I hope I've been able to clarify that aspect. So let's just move on. Okay. Can you see my slide? So let's just move on to the next slide, which is user login. So basically, when a user login, they enter their password and then the password is retrieved from the database. The password that is retrieved from the database is an hash password. And then the system now hash this password you provided. So the system hash the password you provide. It's now using that same hash function it's used to previously hash your password. Then it compares it, the hash password. And if it's the same, you are being authenticated. So yeah, so upon logout, the session ID and cookies is being cleared from your browser, and that is why you need to provide a username and password again. So this is what a session ID might look like. So it's just some random characters which the client doesn't even understand. So let's move on to the next slide. So let's talk about single sign-on. So have you noticed that when you log into with your Gmail to Google services, you are automatically signed in to YouTube, Google Slides, Google Docs, AdSense, Google Analytics, and the likes. You don't need to provide a username and password. You can use that same login across all of Google services. And that is just basically what a single sign-on is. It allows users to log into multiple applications with only one set of credentials. So I'm trying to be fast now because my time is almost up. So let's talk about multi-factor authentication, also known as MFA. So multi-factor authentication requires two or more verification factors for access. So after providing your username and password, you still need to provide other authentication information. And this multi-factor authentication, it makes use of three things you know, which is knowledge, such as password and PIN. Then things you have, which is your possession, such as your smartphone. You must have experienced such when you log in with you provide your password and PIN, and then it sends an OTP or something to your smartphone, and it tells you to input the code to verify. That is what I'm talking about. So things you have, such as smartphone. Then things you are in error, things you are. So it can be your biometric information like fingerprints and the like. So let's see how it works. So the first step is you need to enter your username and password. Then the next step is that you receive a push notification on your device, or you get an SMS, a call, or you have to use an authenticator app. Then the third step is you verify your fingerprint. So let's look at two-factor authentication. So two-factor authentication is just a subset of multi-factor authentication, but this one just requires two factors. So you just enter your username and password, and an OTP, that is the one-time password, is sent via your email or SMS. So that is it about two-factor authentication. It's a subset of multiple factor authentication, but multi-factor authentication can use two or more authentication factors. So let's look at a real world example of authentication. We have been looking at it from the digital world perspective, but let's look at it in real life. So I know many of us have a library card, or if you don't, you know what a library card is. So when you want to enter a library, first thing you need to do is to show your card to enter the library. Then the librarian will verify it. He will check the card and the identity, and then once you are verified, you are allowed entry into the library. So this is just a real world example of authentication. So let's look at passwordless authentication. So passwordless authentication is just basically you entering your email, then a magic link is sent to your email and you use that to log in. As simple as that. You don't need to provide any password or try to remember your password. So that is it about passwordless authentication. So let's go on to biometric authentication. So this is a way to identify users based on their biological characteristics such as their fingerprint, their facial recognition, or an iris scan. So basically, all you need to do is just enter your email, then you give your biometric data, and you are being logged in. So this is it about biometric authentication. So let's talk about token-based authentication. Token-based authentication is a protocol that allows users to verify their identity, and in return, they receive a unique access token. So in summary, you are provided with a temporary password plus limited access to data. So let me use an example. For example, you have an app, and the app needs, okay, you log into to an app, and the app needs access to your financial transactions. You can't just give the app your username and password because you can't trust that app. So what you need to do is to give access. What you need to do is to give access to that app to only read your transaction and nothing else. So the app now, okay, let's say your bank app now holds the financial record. So your bank app will generate a temporary password plus limited access to data, so in the form of a token. So this token is just like a temporary password, and it just gives the client app that wants access to your financial transaction just that access to your financial transaction, and with that it's able to just access your financial transaction. So this is it about token based authentication. So, and JSON Web Token, known as JWT, is a special form of auth token, and we will discuss more about this in OAuth. I just hope there's still enough time to discuss about it, because OAuth is built around the concept of, okay, can you hear me now? I think it was reconnecting. Okay, because OAuth is built around the concept of tokens. So if you want to learn more about JWT, so JWT is one of the tokens that is being used. You can just go to this website being displayed on the screen. So let me just quickly go through authorization. I won't be able to explain OAuth. Okay, so authorization now, after you are being authenticated, authorization now determines what an authenticated user is allowed to do. It ensures that the user has the right permission to access specific resources, and there are different common methods. We have the role-based access control, we have the OAuth, and OAuth, which is a combination of OAuth 2 and OpenID Connect. So there are more methods, and if you are curious about it, you can go on
Hi,
and check.
Grace.
Yeah, so let me just quickly wrap up on
Yeah,
role-based
your session is
authentication.
actually over now.
Okay. Yeah, let me
Yeah.
just quickly wrap up. Thank you. So role-based authentication, permissions are assigned to roles rather than individuals. So let's use a school management system, for example. We have students, we have teachers, we have principal. You want to give each of them permissions to do some certain things, because we don't want to think of a scenario whereby a student can see all the students' data, or they can, do some things that they are not meant to do on that school management platform. So we want to give them only limited permission to be able to view their grades, to be able to
Hi,
submit
Grace.
assignments. Okay.
Yeah, I think you might want to maybe we'll fix another time for you to continue this section for community members, but I would have to like drop you off now, so that we can continue with other stuff that we have in the agenda. Oh,
All
but that
right.
was a lovely presentation,
Thank
and I
you.
hope all the ladies in that very technical, unlike me, were able to like get a few things. So we'll probably sync later on a later date to like complete that presentation. Thank
All right.
you.
Thank you very much.
All right, ladies. So this is break time. I know we've been having talks back to back, so I wanted us to like just go for a quick break. I think we just have 4 more minutes left. But yeah, I'm going to leave the stage now and show one of the products that we were able to get from members. This product is already complete, so just enjoy seeing what it is like. All right, awesome. So I hope that break was worth it. We are right back for the panel session, and this particular session is going to last for 45 minutes. I have amazing panelists that will be joining me today to discuss a topic really, really key. How to like kickstart a career in a fast-paced industry. As we all know, there's just been a lot of changes happening in the tech space. There's the wave of AI. I mean, it's been there, but there's a recent wave that is almost sweeping everyone. Having people like, oh my God, really take my job. Figma releases its own AI, design engineering. Oh, so many changes. So we'll be touching on that amazing topic, and we'll be asking our panelists questions, to address, how can newbies like us, you and I, get into the industry. So I'll be bringing up stage my panelists now. Um, okay.
Hello.
Oh, hi, hi, hi. All
Hi,
right.
everyone.
So I'm also looking to have one more panelist join us in the person of Afi. Um, let's give her a few minutes, just a few minutes. All right. Okay. So while we wait for Afi, hi Wafa, how you doing today? Just a quick round the room. How is everyone doing?
Good, good. How are you, Mary Blessing? I've been enjoying the sessions. I've been enjoying all the talks. Everyone has
Uh
been
huh.
just dropping much like gems, so I've just been, taking advantage of that.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I think my favorite has to be the green software in from a perspective of a front end engineer. Yeah, I mean they were all amazing, but it's been a long time. I heard someone touch on something closely related to nature. So yeah, I enjoyed that one more. Hi, Anta. How you doing today?
Not too bad. Hello, everyone. It's been really lovely
Oh.
listening to all of the talks so far today. Very much looking forward to this conversation. And thanks so much to Mary Blessing and the team for having me.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. We're really, really glad to have you here. All right, so maybe Afi is having some network issues. I'm going to check back on her and bring her up stage. But in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and introduce our panelists for today, right? Amazing, amazing profiles. And, we're going to be learning more about them. I know I can't do justice, but I'm going to try my best. Okay, so we have Anta first, and Anta is an experienced growth marketing, communications, and community strategist. She has, held senior and leadership roles in traditional financial service and fintech, edtech, and job tech scale up in Africa and Europe. Whoa. She's the co founder of Women Leads in Tech Africa, an online community for women tech leaders and aspiring leaders in Africa. Anta works in strategic communications, has been recognized in top global and African tech publications such as Tech Crush, Business Insider, Tech Cabal, Forbes Africa, and Disrupt Africa. And so it's such a pleasure to have you join us today.
Fantastic to be here. Thanks, Mary Blessing.
Awesome. I'm going to just go ahead and introduce Wafa. Hi, Wafa. Wafa Adami is the chapter lead for Shikut Africa, Algeria. And just before I move on, if you are from Algeria here and you're looking for a community of women, close to you, you really should join the SCA Algeria community being led by the amazing Wafa. And to move on, she's a project manager at CSA Research, where she leads efforts to develop innovative products in the localization and translation markets. She is passionate about community work and actively encourages women to transition into tech careers. I Wafa, it's such a pleasure to have you join us today.
Likewise, thank you so much for hosting me. Like I said, I've just been enjoying this, so it's an honor to be here amongst you.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Afi is here with us. Hi, Afi.
Hi. I was just in the background enjoying on YouTube and I forgot to join on StreamYard.
I figured, so I had to send you a message. Say, hey, are you struggling? All right, awesome. So I'm going to quickly introduce Afi, Abigail. So Abigail is a software engineer from a computer science background with a passion for building systems, community building, and sharing an experience through speaking and technical article writing. She has gained experience in organizations including HOT, where she contributed to observability and monitoring tools and technical support issues that support the OpenStreetMap, whoa, which aids in humanitarian action and community development through open mapping and fundraising activities for the West and Northern African Hub. She's also an open source contributor, lead coach, and a international speaker. Afi, it's such a pleasure to have you join us today.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Okay. All right. So let's get started then. Okay. Okay. I did not introduce myself. Oh my God. That's so terrible of me. All right. So my name is Ray Blessing Okoli, and I am a community manager at She Code Africa. I'm also an open source and DI advocate. I do a lot of things around open source, and I am super, super happy to be your moderator for today's session, right? And like I said initially, the theme is starting a career in a fast-paced industry. And I'm going to allow each of my panelists, briefly share about themselves. Basically, the name, where they currently work, what they do, right? Whether work related, whatever it is, and a particular value they hold dear, right? I think I can start with Afi.
Wow, I'm the first person to get on the hot seat. So yeah, my name is Abigail Afi. Most people call me Afi. That's what most people call me. A software engineer mostly on the back end and DevOps. Sometimes or most times I'm also into community building. So you have me in certain communities like Django, Python, Pilot. It's a lot. Um Currently, I think you asked who I am. I currently work for HOT, that's the Humanitarian OpenStreetMap team, and yeah, I'm an open source advocate. Did I answer all your questions? Mary.
Oh, I was struggling with the mic. Yeah, you
Mm.
did, but the remaining one, the values you hold there.
Yeah, values I hold dear. I believe it's more of like transparency, openness, yeah, and growth mindset. Because in tech, you need a growth mindset.
Yeah. True, true, true. Growth mindset is very, very, very key, especially all around what we're discussing today, a fast-paced industry. So you really, really should need that. Thank you so much, Afi, for sharing. Hi, Ante. Please, you can go next.
Happy to. So, hello everyone. As Mary Blessing mentioned, my name is Anthea. I am the head of operations at an edtech company called Catalyze U. Catalyze U vets, trains, and places Africa's leading non-tech talent at startups and VC funds across the continent. And I have been with them for almost a year now. My role has evolved. Initially, I started as head of platform and community. Owing to my strong community background, I headed up engagement for OfferZen before this. OfferZen is the largest tech talent marketplace in South Africa. South Africa also has the largest population of developers on the continent, so it is a very big marketplace. I worked at OfferZen and was also in charge of scaling our community operations from South Africa to 6 additional markets in Europe, focusing primarily out of our office in Amsterdam. Before that, I worked at a thriving fintech company called Jumo. Jumo is in the microcredit and lending space, operating in multiple countries across the African continent and also in the Middle East. My background focuses on community, building community, making community a strategic asset for businesses. I believe and love the tech ecosystems that we have on the continent and in Europe. Love the connections, love events like this. I think it's really important for helping people connect, grow, learn from each other. I'm also the co-founder of Women Leads in Tech community, and that is essentially for aspiring leads and existing leads working at startups across the continent. What we do there is we reach out and connect with incredible women who are working at amazing startups across the continent. We just spoke to someone from Anchor, a fintech in Nigeria. Our next speaker is from WorkPay. We've spoken to people from Lulaland in South Africa. And we just talked to them about some of the lessons and journeys that they've been on that we can benefit from as a community. As a final note, I am a full-time digital nomad. I'm based out of Cape Town, mostly fueled by my love of being in connecting with people working in tech ecosystems. I spend multiple months at a time traveling across the continent. I recently, 2 weeks ago, came back from Kenya, where I spent about 2 months just working remotely, but also being immersed in the community, the tech ecosystem over there. So yeah, very, very excited to be here, very excited to share some of my learnings, and also, as I've been doing all day, learning from the community. Oh, on the personal values, just before I get that, I'm a big advocate of, not only knowing that for yourself, but also being open and letting it guide your behavior. So a few that I live by personally is 1, stay curious, be open. You don't know everything, that you can learn from everyone that comes across your path. As Afia said, strong growth mindset, believe that we are constantly growing and learning. And another one that I respect, especially in the work context, is default to open. So work visibly, share and be transparent. In that way, you empower the people around you, and also people can help the work that you do and make that better. That is me.
Amazing. I love it. I love it. All right, Wafa, please do go ahead and introduce or let us know where you work. I'm curious to hear more about the work you do at SCA Algeria. So yeah, please, you
of
have
course. So I'm Wafa. Like Mary Blessing said, just recently I've been the chapter lead for CSA, for SCA Africa, the Algiers chapter. It's the first chapter here in North Africa. And just echoing what Mary Blessing said, if you're in the North Africa region or you're just curious, you can check us out. We're a new chapter, so we're still recruiting members, and we're going to be holding more events in September. On the personal level, like Mary Blessing said, I'm a project manager and a product manager for CSA Research. It's an American market research firm, and we specialize in the translation and localization market. So we help big companies like Microsoft, Uber with our research when they try to localize in other regions of all over the world. In this role, I had the data products department, so I take care of the technical team and we'll make sure that our data products are being built and we service the B2B market. Before that, similar to Anthea, I also had background in the e-commerce, edtech, and fintech. So before that, I was a product owner for Go My Code, which is, I'm sure some of you are familiar with that. It's a tech company. I was head of the product departments there, so I was responsible for developing the departments and taking care of the technical team. Before that, I was also with Picera, which is an Eastern European fintech company. So I took care of the operations here in Algeria, as well as the Eastern European market. Like Mary Blessing said, also one of my big ethos is the importance of recruiting people to the tech scene, especially women. Just because my technical experience, it's not technical per se. I have my master's in public relations. I have my bachelor's in journalism. I did journalism for a year. Can you imagine? Before transitioning into tech. So I'm a big advocate of upskilling yourself, transition if you're interested in the field. When it comes to my own beliefs and ethos, like I said, I'm gonna be okay, repeating what you guys said, but I'm a big believer in upskilling. I think everyone should be always on the road or pivoting to upskilling as much as possible. No matter where you are in your role, even if you're a junior to an expert in your field. I'm a big believer in communication and openness. What else? I'm a big believer in being open in terms of not being selfish with knowledge. If you have the knowledge, don't hog it. Make sure that you share as much as possible, because we all started as juniors or not much experience, and we all had that mentor or someone that guided us through our journey. So for that,
I love it. Thank you so much, Wafa, for that. Okay. So with that, we are just going to move into the questions. So I'm going to start by asking, getting a bit. I think you all. Okay, Wafa did share her educational background, right? But I would like to know where you Ante, is coming from educationally, right? What's your educational background and experience in your current role as a head of operation?
It's weird. It's actually quite similar to Wafa and what she shared. So my educational background is actually in political science and history. While at university, I got involved in our student newspaper, which is one of the leading ones in South Africa, as a journalist and eventually as a news editor. So strong journalistic background. Before university, even I was a news producer and reader from the age of 16 at a local radio station. So a strong leaning towards journalism and politics. I ended up in the communications space, which is kind of a natural progression for someone with a political science and then a journalistic background. And for a couple of years, I worked on the internal and external communication side for Old Mutual, which is a massive financial services company on the continent. Then I made the pivot. So I moved into the startup space, Jumo, OfferZen, and now Catalyze You. Essentially, in my role as head of operations, I care about a couple of things, right? So firstly, I make sure that all our ops run smoothly for all of our fellowships. So we do online fellowships in VC and building startups. We're currently running a How to Startup fellowship with Future Africa. So making sure that the user journey and experience for all of our fellows from before they get onto the program, so the marketing, how they sign up, how we select them, etc., to how we onboard them onto our platforms, to the experience that they have throughout. So running surveys, making sure that our comms platforms are up and running, that we're constantly engaging our fellows, and then to the end, right? From when they graduate, the experience that they have in the final events with us to becoming part of our community. So I care about that end-to-end journey for all of our fellows. I work closely with our CEO and our our Chief Strategic Officer, to make sure that we are able to plan accurately for all of our future cohorts. So what that looks like in terms of timelines, in terms of people, resources, and capacity, making sure that we can balance all of the work that's being shared amongst all of the team. I also care about partnerships, so talent partnerships for our placement platform, making sure that we are reaching out, cultivating relationships with potential partners that we can bring on board, either for the training side or to help get their people placed through our placement platform. And then on the financial side, I make sure that from a team management perspective, closely aligned to our budget, our forecast, our runway, that we have considered, how people progress, so caring about scorecards, caring about performance, caring about equity allocation for the team, and then just making sure that from a financial perspective that we are also balancing our growth, the projects that we are working on with where we are as a business. I think finally, just from a compliance perspective, I work with our external platforms, our learning management systems, our talent marketplace to make sure that our candidate data on the learning management platform system, the usage there is in line with legislation, but also honors and protects the data that we get from our talent and the people on our fellowships, and to make sure that when we are engaging with them, that we are doing so within the legal framework.
Yeah, amazing. Did I hear you say you come from a political science background, educational wise?
Correct.
Wow. So at what point did you like? How did that relate to operations? Like what you currently do? Like, I'm looking at it. I'm thinking in my head like the difference. Like, at what point did you decide that okay, this is what you want to stick to operations, right? Seeing that you're coming from a different educational background. Yeah. What was that point of what do I call it? The point where you had to like come to that decision. This is what you want to pursue.
Hmm. I think the point that Waka made earlier actually captures that journey pretty well. So for me, I've always been obsessed isn't the right word, but I care very much about learning and constant upskilling for myself. I have a wide range of interests as a human being. So, reading widely, being in circles that is outside of my profession, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Initially, the journalistic and political science background led me to a communications role. But even in that role, I was constantly seeking out new projects, trying to work on different things that will allow me to stretch myself, allow me to grow and build my skills. And that's kind of led to seeking out opportunities in different spaces. So I started out on the project comms side and then internal comms. And I was like, okay, this is great, but I really want to see what the external comms, the media relations, PR looks like. Made a transition there. When I was in that role, kind of felt like I reached a peak there in financial services, but also in the comm space there. And I really wanted to understand what's out there in the startup space. Made the move, literally just applications, made the move to Jumo, who at the time had raised 110 million USD, was really going to revolutionize the micro lending space in Africa. Got on there as a strategic comms role, so still a natural progression. And then after some time at Jumo, I decided to make the shift to a very successful talent tech marketplace in South Africa. And there, the initial role was around events. So it's kind of a stream of communication, but I expanded that role as part of my negotiation. There's obviously salary and equity, but then also ambit and responsibilities. And I kind of shaped that conversation to yes, you need events, but I also want to focus on comms and a bunch of other things. And from there, I made the move to Catalyze You. And again, initially, head of platform and community, strong comms layer there. But while I've been here, I've been exposing myself as it is a startup to different sides of the business. What do I enjoy? What do I need to learn? Where do I need to grow? And eventually, literally 2 weeks ago, I was reflecting on all of the things that I'm doing. Didn't feel like it squarely fits within the title of platform and community. Had a conversation with our CEO. He, consulted with his co-founder and eventually made 100% sense that the responsibilities that I've taken on since I've started has actually expanded the portfolio, and that the retitling was how I've ended up now as head of operations.
Wow, that's such a journey. I mean, when you were speaking, I hear curious mind, right? And I hear you having that growth mindset, right? And I strongly believe that it's also something for people looking to get into this industry, which is really, really fast paced, needs to have, right? Just exploring things. I think I could also say that you are a multi potentialite, like you're just sort of like good at almost everything, and now you found that perfect fit for you, which is really amazing, right? Thank you so much, Anthea, for sharing that. Hi, Afi. I'm really, really curious to learn more about your educational background and when you decided that, you know what, it's software engineering that I want to do.
So my educational background is computer science. So I did computer science for 4 years in school as undergrad, and then I got into a tech role. So for me, it wasn't really straightforward because before entering the university, I knew I was going to do something in the health course, but somehow I ended up representing Ghana at the World Robotics Olympiad. So there was a robotics club that I was in high school, and due to the competitions we participated in, and then the whole traveling outside international experience and being in that competition, I realized that, oh, I wanted to do tech. So I have a CS undergrad, and then I went straight into that. So for me, it was more of turning point in high school, and then I just stuck with the same course. But in work now, having a growth mindset, I still do software stuff, right, on the side, but I also delve into partnerships now. So I was really happy when Anthea mentioned partnerships, because I also do partnerships, and also with the community side involving different communities I'm in, I do partnerships too. So, and fundraising. So yeah, it's like I have to be flexible.
Yeah. I think that's the one thing about many of us who are community builders. We tend to like wear many hats. You have to do community moderation, community engagement, community partnership. Because you need to secure partnership, sponsorship for all the events and scholarships or maybe activities you're running. For the benefit of your members. So, we just tend to be flexible, whether by choice or maybe it's not our choice. We just have to. Thank you, Afi, for sharing that. Yeah, I mean, that's true. I know even though you had like a computer science background, a lot of times it's not always easy to, fully, commit to a career, similar to what you've already like pursued in school, and that's really really cool. And yeah, I see the amazing work you do in so many open source communities. Really really awesome work, and thank you so much for sharing that, Afi. So I'm just going to go right to Wafa. So I'm really curious, you currently do project management, but is that your first job in the tech industry? And how did you get into your first job in tech, right? And what particular skills, right, prepared you for that role? Because I'm very, very certain that a lot of newbies are listening to us right now, and they're like, oh, so how do I start preparing to land my first tech role, right? So what are those skills that prepared you for that particular job, and what job it is, or it
Yeah.
was?
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let me set you the scene. This was me after graduating with my master's degree in public relations. Like I said, I've always seen myself as a journalist girl, even growing up. Like my obsession was just reading the newspaper. I saw myself on TV. I got my first job out of, well, I was interning in a national newspaper here in Algiers. I was interning during my master's year, and then I kind of ventured into that role after I graduated, where I used to write the international news column and cover a couple of other columns. I do that for a year, but I found myself being a bit stifled, not just in terms of creativity, but I've always been interested in tech. I just didn't have that, I don't know what you would call it, but the capacity to learn something quite technical as software engineering or computer science. Um, so I start looking around, and eventually I get scouted by Pacera, which is, like I said, an Eastern European fintech company. I kind of showcase myself via LinkedIn. The recruiter reaches out, and she says, "Are you interested in the data coordinator role?" At that time, I didn't have any idea what data coordination is. Like I thought it was something to do with data analysis. So in my mind, I'm like, I don't have the skills to do data analysis. I don't have any SQL skills. I don't know Tableau. But like I said, I've always been in the kind of the mindset of just do it. You can learn on the job. You can learn while you're doing it. So I take the job. That was my first job in the tech field as a data coordinator. It didn't have to do anything with data analysis, but it did have to a lot to do with, task coordination, make sure our data is in the right place, it's with the right people. And from that, I was under a team, under the leadership of a product owner. And from that on, I was mentored by that product owner. I was super interested in the role. And after a couple of conversations with him, I found myself being very attracted to that kind of role because as a product owner, it is good to have those technical skills. It is good to, have that connection with your developers, but it's not very necessary. The necessary part with product ownership is being a good communicator, being good with technical writing, which are both skills that I learned while I was a journalist, having that good connection and knowing how to communicate with your stakeholders and your team. So I kind of use those skills that I had while I was a journalist to transition into my first tech job. I've been in tech since then for 5 years now, ranging from almost like product owner into like now project management. And it's the same thing. I just only grown with the technical stuff, but I still use those core skills that I managed to transition from the non-technical jobs into the tech field. So I would say, knowing how to identify those skills that you have currently and knowing how to use them to leverage yourself into a tech role is very important.
Yeah, I agree. So, those skills that were not technical, you were able to transfer into your technical roles. What specific skills were those? Were they soft skills? Um, do you mind like maybe giving us your top three?
Yeah, of course. So this is an exercise I always like to give to people when they tell me they're not technical, but they would like to transition into tech. I always say just print your resume, have a pen with you, and underline all the soft and also all the hard skills that you can transition with. For me, it was like I said, being a good communicator. That was a core skill of the product management job. Being good at writing, for me it was technical writing, so knowing how to write those product requirement documents, know how to write a user story, being a good kind of a liaison between your stakeholders, with your technical teams, know how to translate and communicate their pain points, their blockers to other departments. So that was a good skill. Being detail oriented as a technical field or a technical role, you're kind of obligated to be attention or detail oriented. So those were all skills that I managed to bring from my previous jobs into the technical field.
Mm. Sorry, I mean, you must have seen me looking this way. I'm trying to take some notes because I'm also benefiting from this session, right? So I hear you say good communication. I hear you say you had like, technical writing skills. And I hear you say stakeholder management, right?
Mhm.
And yeah, those are really, really awesome skills. And when you initially spoke, you talked about, learning on the job. In a fast-paced industry like tech, do you advise people coming into the industry to really learn at the job, or rather on the job? Because now what happens is that if you can't keep up with the space, you just can be dropped off. So what would your advice be to newbies trying to get into the space? Would you say that, oh, don't mind, you can always, do great things on the job, even though you don't have all the necessary skills? But what are your
Yeah,
thoughts
yeah,
on that?
definitely. I say this from even the perspective of someone that has a bit more seniority now. I'll say, even when I'm applying to jobs now, it's rare the case where you see a job description where you have all the requirements. So I will say, when you're when I say learning on the job, I don't mean not necessarily having all those core skills. You know, having those core skills is very important, but knowing what are the non-negotiables and negotiables. So having those core skills is the obligation. You know, knowing how to excel in the job. But when it comes to the non requirements, you can learn a job. I don't know if I'm making much sense, but there's some skills that you can learn in jobs, and mostly in my case, in my previous few jobs, my team has always been supportive. It's all about finding a good mentor and a good leadership team where you have the room and they give you the space to grow. Because no one comes perfect to a job. No one has all those. No one fits the bill 100%.
Oh my God, so sorry about that. There was this sharp noise. So sorry. All right, thank you so much, Wafa, for sharing that. Um, I'm just going to go right to Afi to hear her thoughts on taking initiative and being proactive. We talked about curious mindset, having a growth mindset as well when moving into this fast-paced industry called tech. How is taking initiative and being proactive felt like key to one being more successful in their role as a newbie in tech. Hayafi, would you like to share thoughts on that?
Yeah, so as you said, it's very, very crucial that you always try to stay ahead of the curve. I know meeting or being up to the current trends or what's currently going on in the community or in the tech space can be very, very daunting, but you have to find a way to find to create a balance, right? So you don't wait till you're told to do something. Even at work, like if there's something, a new feature, a tax, a tool you've not probably heard of, something that's new, you could try and explore it. And aside from work in your own personal career, I think Anthea or Waffle was they were talking about how you should have no the previous speaker, yeah, when I was on YouTube talking about having 5 years like a plan. So that alone will help you gauge things because with those timelines you can figure out what to do at each step. So for me, being proactive about your career, your tax, everything that has to do with you, even your work-life balance, right? It's very crucial in you like going high up like the top as a software engineer or somebody in the tech space to be very efficient. So I'd say always make sure that you are in communities because communities is a very good resource for getting timely information so that you could stay even more proactive and subscribing to the mailing list. And also when it comes to work, making sure that you get clarity. Am I audible?
Yeah,
Okay.
sure.
Oh, okay, okay. I saw my face alone, so I was wondering. Yeah, so just making sure that you stay ahead of the curve and you reach out to other people and you have a mentor. Or having a mentor is one of the things that I think would really help you stay ahead because they've seen or gone through what you've gone through. So having a mentor, being proactive, asking questions, putting yourself out there, mailing list, community involvement, all these things. And I always say this having a growth mindset because you need to be able to be flexible to take in new things and yeah, go up the ladder.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you, Afi, for that. So that's really really key. Having to. I think you made mention of having a mentor, right? I know for some of us newbie would say, oh, the experts in the industry they don't always have time. That's true, but I think of recent times things are a little bit changing. There are platforms like APD List or ADP List that allows you connect with mentors, experts in your industry, and you can have these brief sessions with them and ask questions as well. That way you are staying abreast of the entire industry or your specific field of interest, right? And I also hear you say building in public. Oh, I cannot overemphasize on the importance of having to put yourself out there, right? It just helps. It has a way of helping the universe bring the right people your way, right? When they see the things you are doing, right? They just somehow connect to you. I think I connected with Anthea when I saw, every time she's always consistent about sharing what she's doing. I'm like, this woman, I like what she's sharing. And sometimes it takes me, I have to click the links, it just happened naturally because I'm now like, always looking forward to her posts within the community. And that's just really, really awesome. So yeah, thank you, Afi, for highlighting those. Those were really, really key things. And, your emphasis on being more proactive, taking initiative in your role, even as a newbie in the tech space. Right. So we're just going to go to the next question, and I would like Anthea to share her thoughts on this. What are some strategies young professionals can use to stay ahead of the curve, and continuously learn new skills? I think Wafa mentioned about one of our values is that she's an advocate for having to upskill, right? You can't just be in this industry and not upskill. There's things always changing, right? Figma just released a whole new feature, and people are already crying, oh, how do we get to master this new feature on the platform, right? So yeah, please, I would like to hear your thoughts on that.
I think Afi mentioned some of this already. So one of the things that's really important is to be in and make sure that you build and contribute to community. I've worked in my talent marketplace, and we absolutely know that when it comes to how developers learn and grow, it is through community. It is through attending events, contributing to events, learning from other people in the space. Really, really important. The underlying value here is to have that growth mindset, to be curious and willing to learn, seeking out new information. I think that's really important. So be part of community, contribute, engage with people in your community is really important. The second thing that I find really valuable is to connect with people that you find interesting or are doing interesting things. The reason why we have our community, Women Leads in Tech Africa, is because I do that personally in my own life. I seek out people who I see are doing interesting things, just like Mary Blessing has now shared how we've connected and how I've ended up here, is because I reach out. I set up a coffee. I'm so grateful that I'm able to get the time with people. When you reach out and you ask for 30 minutes, to talk about X or Y, you will be surprised how often people will say yes and will grant you the time and be so willing to share. The third thing that I think is really important when it comes to continually learning and growing is whatever sector or whatever profession you're in, there is guaranteed to be tons of content available here. Whether it's delivered through newsletters, whether it's delivered through webinars, whether it's delivered through community events, make sure that you are there and you are participating. Whether it's just an hour or so a day, I think there's so much that can be gained by just being. I'm in the communication space. I'm in the product space. What are the resources that's available? What are the communities around this that I can join? That I can be really involved with. A fourth surprising thing, which I don't think not many people consider, but is also really important to your own growth and own evolution, is to be interested in other spaces, be interested in other areas that's not necessarily your own space. So, for example, in a company, what works really well is that you have many teams working on many different things. Nothing stops you from, setting up a coffee with a colleague to understand what are they working on, how is it contributing to the business, what are the skills that's needed there. I chatted to Anja Underwood, who is head of growth marketing at Lula a couple of months ago. She landed her job by speaking to people in other teams, finding out what they're doing, generating that interest, and doing a secondment, right? Doing a secondment of a couple of months to get the exposure and ultimately realize that actually marketing is where she wants to grow. So if you're in the technical space, connect with people on the creative side. If you're in marketing, make sure that you're speaking to people on the sales side. I think that's really important. And then the last thing for me, which is very personal, is set goals for yourself around the things that you want to learn. I a couple of months ago, so I have quarterly goals that I review on a quarterly basis. Today is in fact my quarter day, so I spent some time revisiting my goals, and it's across multiple areas. If you have growth goals, you can have financial goals, you can have relationship goals. Set goals that you can stretch yourself to, that you also seek out resources and things to help you get there. So for me, for instance, on the creative side, I wanted to learn Swahili, the basics of Swahili, so that when I travel on the continent in Swahili-speaking countries, I can communicate. I wanted to learn the guitar. None of these things are related to my actual job, but it stimulates another part of my brain that helps me grow and learn new things. I'm currently learning French. I'm spending a month in France at the end of the year. So for me, those are the important things. Be part, contribute to community, really key. Make sure that you are seeking out and speaking to people in your business that are in other areas. Make sure that you are reaching out to people in your network, people you admire. Grab the coffees, ask the questions. Don't neglect to also focus on other areas of your life, and make sure that you are setting goals to help you on your continuous learning journey.
Amazing, great advice. Thank you so much, Ante, for that. That was really, really awesome. So I'm just going to take the last question, really, because we are a little out of time now. And I just wanted to hear each and every one of us share, advice you would give your younger self, right? If you're like, so what advice would you give your younger self if you were starting your career at this time, right? What do you wish someone had told you that you would like to share with newbies, currently watching this section? Yeah, let me start with Wafa.
Okay, so I would say my main advice for my younger self, this is something I contemplate all the time, but it's get over the embarrassment of no and accept the fact that the no can be a yes sometimes and no can be a no, but no can also be turned into a yes. Sometimes I feel especially when you're coming into a new field, you're young, you're just too embarrassed to put yourself out there, expose yourself. You feel vulnerable, you're scared of being rejected, but you just have to keep always in mind that rejection is always redirection, you know? So getting over that initial embarrassment of being rejected is so important. You have to put yourself out there. You have to say yes. You have to connect with people. And that's how you put yourself on the map, and that's how you get people to acknowledge you, and that's how you grow. Not only as in a working context, but as a person as a whole.
Oh, sorry for that. Thank you, Wafa, for that. I mean, it's so easy for us to, feel really down when we get a no, right? Sometimes we're so sure that we will get a yes, then it comes out no, and you're like, maybe I'm not good enough. Thank you so much for that great advice, Ayafi. What are your thoughts on that? What would you tell your younger self now?
For me, the number one thing would be to get over imposter syndrome, because I don't know, it happens to the best of people. I've heard from like other engineers or other people who are experts in their field that it happens to the best of people. So I know it's quite hard to get over that, but if you have to do something, just do it, and don't think about it. Don't think too hard about it. Just go for it and give it your best shot in every single thing. To my younger self, probably continue what I'm doing, get over imposter syndrome, try to live, try to live more, and have the work-life balance. As Antia was saying, like you have to do something that stimulates a different part of your brain. It's just not tech, tech, tech. You have to find something else that complements that side too. And goal setting. Goal setting is something that I used to do. I think I should have probably been doing it more intensively then, even though I used to do it. So goal setting is one of the best ways to stretch yourself, as Anthea said, and reach the goals that you set for yourself.
I love it. Thank you, Afi, for sharing that. So I think I have one more question, and I really would just maybe use this as the final question, and I would allow Ante answer this one instead. What are you passionate about in your current role, and how do you work to ensure that you are able to continue to explore that passion, right?
It's a good question. I think in my current role, I'm really passionate about, especially on the people side, helping people be clear on what they do and how it contributes to the business, helping people be clear on where they need to stretch and grow, and creating a space for people to do that. I think that many people in leadership roles, one of the things we don't always talk about is leading people is complex and difficult and, a roller coaster from time to time. But what I really enjoy is helping people grow and be better versions of themselves than they were yesterday. I get to do that now in my role. I do things on the side that helps me do that, and enables me to do that. And that is how I cultivate my passion. That is the thing that drives me when I'm sitting in a one on one call or when I'm trying to make things better, more accessible for our entire team, or whether I'm hosting events for our community. That belief, which comes from that value of having a growth mindset, really drives that passion of how can I help others grow? How can I leave people more transformed than when they were before we started talking or before we started engaging? And yeah, those are the things that I do to cultivate that passion.
Mm, awesome. Thank you so much. I mean, even for leaders, we are so, how do I put it now? We're so focused on, being our better selves, and sometimes not even caring about those we are leading. And it's really, really important that, in as much as we also want to grow, that we also carry those we're leading along. To be the best that they can be as well. And we appreciate you and every leader out there, making sure that those they are leading are being the best version of themselves. Yeah, and even us streaming this or watching this live, even as a newbie, you can also do great things from wherever you are, right? You don't even have to be a leader to be able to help the next person beside you, right? So, yeah, that was a really, really great advice. And with that, we have brought the panel to a close. It was really, really, really nice having you ladies around. Thank you so much for honoring our invitation and coming to share your knowledge in this particular topic today. And we really hope that everyone out there watching this, has gained a thing or two, and they can, use that to they can implement that in their daily life, in their current job search, or as they're looking to get into this fast-paced industry called tech. Thank you so much, Afi. Thank you so much, Ante. Thank you so much, Wafa. It was lovely, lovely hearing you all speak. And yeah,
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks for
yeah,
having
thank
us.
you. Yeah. All right.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Afi. Bye. All right, ladies. That's the end of the panel. I hope you were able to, get a few things from our speakers, and we're really looking forward to any testimonies you have after this particular session. So right about now, we are going to go move ahead to our keynote session for today. Remember, I said we have saved the best for the last. So yeah, so we'll be having our founder grace the stage, giving us the keynote session or the keynote talk for this particular event. And I am going to bring her up stage. Hi, Ada.
Hi, Mary Blessing. Hi, everyone. It's good to be here. Thank you for having me. And I hope the conversation has been going really great.
Yeah, thank you so much. So I will allow you to have the floor now.
Thank you. Sorry, I didn't know I was muted. Hi, everyone. I'm really excited to be here. Thank you, Mary Blessing, for putting this together. When Mary Blessing reached out saying that, we're organizing something like this, I was really, really proud of the efforts. One thing that we try to do at She Code Africa is to make sure that while we are providing you with all the skills in terms of career skills, we also want to be able to make sure that you're growing your technical skills, which is the core of everything that we do here at Shikod Africa. So just like my blessing had introduced, my name is Ada Nduka Oyo, and I'm the founder and executive director here at Shikod Africa. Some of you may know me from my conversations when I randomly once in a while pop up on the Slack group chats. You might also know me as Kulukodes on social media platforms. I am somebody who is very, very keen on getting more girls and women into STEM, not just tech, but into STEM as well. And today I'm going to be talking about innovation and leadership, African women like us shaping the future of tech. When Mary Blessing reached out to me to give this keynote, I wanted to give a talk that resonated around, while we're building a career, getting the skills that we need, but also to be able to, show leadership in this industry, not just in the field, but in the industry as well. So the next few slides are going to be talking about how we as women, girls and women in Africa, can also shape the future of tech. All right, so give me a minute. All right, so first off, I'm going to define the very basics, what innovation is, what leadership is, and how we can translate it into our day-to-day activities. Like you can see on the screen, innovation simply means doing new things. Doing new things in a creative way, using what is around you to come up with a new idea that brings up a solution. That's being innovative, and that's what innovation is all about. Very simple. While leadership is the ability for you to translate your vision into reality. For example, the ability for me, who had the vision of, I want to see a platform and a community where girls and women in Africa are able to come together and be proud of being in tech or be proud of being in STEM. I was able to translate that vision into what we know as Shikod Africa as a reality now, and that is basically what leadership is all about. I want you to understand these two things so that when we go deeper into the conversation, you'll be able to relate to the different aspects of conversation. Now, you will typically ask, okay, so I'm coming into tech. Why should I want to innovate? Why should I want to be a leader? I just want to do my thing and, mellow down or build my technical skills, go do my 9 to 5 and mellow down. I don't have any responsibilities. I don't have any pressure. I don't want to be out there. Now, here are the few reasons why I want us to be able to do that. One is, we are doing these things as women in tech or as girls in tech, depending on your age. But we're doing these things because we want to bring solutions to worldwide problems. With the way the world is going, there's so many problems, there are so many disasters happening, there's so many crises happening, ongoing at different points and ongoing at different phases in different countries, in different locations. And many times it is the singular idea or a random idea that could come into your mind that could turn into creating a lasting solution or at least some level of solution to what your environment might be facing in terms of the problem. So we want you to think, because I want you to come up with solutions to worldwide problems. We also want you to provide unique approaches to problem solving. One beautiful thing about being a woman in tech is, I don't know how many of us have heard this, but one beautiful thing about being a woman in tech is that we bring a different perspective when it comes to problem solving. We understand, for example, as an organization that's catered to girls and women in STEM like you, we understand the situations and challenges. I understand situations and challenges because I'm also a girl and a woman like you. I understand what it means to maybe take a pause in my career, to maybe start a family, and some what it means to maybe when I want to learn how to code, maybe I have a tutorial I'm learning and then my mom is calling me to maybe come do something in the kitchen, things like that. I understand that because I'm also a woman, and we bring that unique approach to problem solving. We bring that feminine aspect, the idea, the different perspectives that we have. As women, we have very multiple perspectives about different things. We see things a different way. So we bring that approach. Another thing is, we because we are in this, we are able to bring more inclusivity for women. So when we decide to be innovative, when a woman sees you being innovative, they're encouraged to also want to pick up that opportunity. They're also encouraged to want to pick up that opportunity when it comes to this thing STEM, or when it comes to doing something that is related to what you're doing. For example, with She Code Africa, I have had people who have reached out to me saying, oh, because of what you're doing with She Code Africa, I've been inspired to want to start something for girls and women, in my own community. It might not be something really huge, but, I've been inspired to like start something in my own community just because I'm seeing what you're doing. You have female founders out there who are, running organizations, tech organizations, and you have other girls who have been inspired just by what they're doing. So when you are coming in and you're being innovative and you're being a leader, you're able to create more inclusivity for other women like you. Now, another thing is exceptional and innovative ideas. I think that this one is very self-explanatory. I'm trying as much as possible, to rush through things so that we can get into the main conversation for today. Now, another example of people or women like us who have gone ahead of time to to do things that sometimes or right now feels like it's one of like very basic things, but these are women who have been innovative and women who have inspired us as leaders. An example is Fumilayo Ransome-Kuti, which many of us might know. She's a women's rights activist. She was a women's rights activist. There's Heidi Lemma, who discovered Wi-Fi, GPS, and Bluetooth, and so on and so forth. And when we bring it down to Africa, you're seeing women like this, like Odun Eweni, who is the founder of Piggy Tech and First Check Africa. You're seeing Nico Yembra, who is founder of Chrysalis Capital, which is a VC fund. You're seeing Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, who's the Director General of the World Trade Organization. She's my role model, so like this is a really huge thing. Then you're seeing Tosin, you're seeing Jihan, and so many other women who have decided to step out of the box and be innovative with their skills, either with their technical skills, with their role-related skills, whatever it is, and they have decided to move out of the step out of the box and be innovative, and then also be as leaders like us, and what we're trying to do here. Now, one thing, if there's nothing that you're leaving this conversation with, one thing I want you to remember is that innovations reflect the need of a continent on the rise. In Africa, there is half of the population of Africa by 2030 are going to be youths. And what this simply means is that compared to other continents like Europe, Asia, etc., half of us are still, when it comes to Africa, half of the continent and the population in Africa is going to be people who are still starting out, their careers, building their careers, who are still not even close to their prime, which means that there's a lot of innovation, there's a lot of innovative ideas that's going to come from this thing that's going to come from our continent. Now, imagine the possibilities when we as African women utilize our talents and our talents are amplified. I just want to take for like a few minutes, just imagine, okay, if that idea that was running in my head, if I take a few minutes to implement this, what exactly is it going to result into in 2 years' time, in 1 year time, in 3 years' time? Now, the skills that I've been talking about, oh, we want you to come in, be innovative, be leaders. This tech symposium is focused on helping you build technical skills that will make you shine out and stand out in tech. But then beyond this, beyond the regular what everybody is doing in tech with these skills, how can you stand out in your field? How can you lead in your field? And the first thing is, you need to have like empathy. If you're going to be a leader, and this is something I am speaking with from experience, as a leader, you need to know how to empathize because you're going to be working with people, you're going to be interacting with different people. Empathy is like a very top skill for anybody who's looking to grow as a leader, and you definitely need that. The other thing is open communication. Be willing to improve on your communication skills. And this is not just, oh, if I want to lead maybe a team, or if I want to lead an organization or a company. Communication is something that is very, very vital across any career role or any growth role it is that you're looking at. So if you're the type that says that, oh, I just want to stay by myself, I don't want to speak with anybody, I'm keeping to myself, there's absolutely no way your growth or career growth is going to be very limited. So open communication is something that you need. Creativity is another thing, which is where it intertwines with the innovation part. You could be working at a company and your creative ideas, you might not be the ones implementing it, but you could be speaking to your boss and saying, oh, I I thought about this. How about we implement it, etc. And your boss is more than happy, when they see that. Sorry, please give me a minute. I think my battery is really low. I need to plug in my charger. A minute, please.
Okay, ladies, just a minute, and be
Okay,
right back.
yes, I'm back. Sorry about that. Thank you very much for your blessing. So yes, creativity, you bring in ideas. One thing that I have come to experience as an employer is people value, I value, and I'm speaking from experience, I value when I have employees who are able to come up with ideas without being led to, you know, somebody randomly tuning out and saying, "Oh, I said that we're doing XYZ. Can we do it in this format? Can we do it in this way?" That alone is a sign to me that this person is going to, go a very long way in terms of their career growth, because they're always coming up with ideas. So being creative is one thing that would definitely stand you out, especially in being innovative and being a leader as well. Another thing is conflict resolution. This is, the having that super saving skill to be able to like resolve conflicts, maybe in team interactions, working with other people. At some point, there might be some friction, and you're able to resolve that. So this is it's definitely a skill you want to have. Then the last one is around like mentorship and relationship building. There's absolutely no way you're going to grow your career in not just in tech, but in any field it is that you are, if you're not willing to like share your knowledge. So one thing that I have learned, and I think this is something that's also very common out there, is that, or that's said so often out there, is that when you teach something, you understand that thing a lot more better. So by the time you're teaching people, you're impacting people, you're not just creating a ripple effect for other people to know about that thing that you're doing in that role, but you're also reminding yourself and you're teaching yourself even more things about that particular field. So mentorship and relationship is something, is a skill that will be very, very vital for anyone who is looking to be a leader and be an innovative leader. Now, I've talked about these skills, right? But one thing that is going to be very common, oh, okay, I think I'm motivated. And then when you finally get the opportunity to speak, or maybe to lead a team, or to do something that has to do with you being a leader, you start to feel like, oh, I don't think that I'm qualified for this, or I don't think that I deserve to do this thing, or I don't think I deserve to win this, or whatever it is. That basically is imposter syndrome. And this is me, first of all, here to tell you that it's never going to stop, right? Imposter syndrome is something that is always going to keep showing up at different points in time, unfortunately. But there are so many ways I can tackle that to not let it hinder you from your growth, because you definitely need to grow in your career. One is you need to understand to like embrace your process, and don't compare yourself with anybody. People always talk about how if you go on LinkedIn, there's always somebody announcing something new, and then you start to like doubt yourself, like, am I really doing the right thing? Or I feel like I'm a failure. Embrace your process and understand that your journey is something entirely different. Even if both of you, or you and other people, are on the same field, your journey is entirely different. The way that you would understand something might be different from the way another person would understand another thing. So these are things that you need to always remind yourself. And for someone like me who's been in the industry for more than 10 years, I tell you that I still experience imposter syndrome, but nobody would know. Except I tell you, maybe in a situation that I'm experiencing, and I tell you like, oh, I'm feeling this way, right? You would never know, because these are things that I try to remind myself, like, oh, like I have put in the work and I deserve to be here. And a very good opportunity or example was when I had to be in the same room and speak with NOI, that's Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala. At Before I had the opportunity to speak with her, I was doubting myself, like, oh, do I really deserve to be here? There's so many women in the room, so many top amazing women in the room. Even Meghan Markle was in the room as well. And I was like asking myself, like, do I really deserve to be here? But then I had to remind myself, like, I've been doing this thing for a very long time. And for me to get this invite to be in the same room, like they see what I'm doing, they know that I deserve to be here. So I had to remind myself. So yes, another thing is another way you can tackle imposter syndrome is, seeking feedback and implementing the useful suggestions, right? Is a difference between bragging and not being willing to, take feedback and improve, to understanding that even though you're really good, when people give you positive feedback, please remember there's a difference between positive feedback and negative feedback. Positive feedback, when they give you positive feedback, you get to implement that. So another thing is also to like set realistic expectations. I think this is very similar to the first one where you have to like embrace your process and not compare, set realistic expectations. Just because somebody, for example, learns how to build a full development system in maybe 1 year or in 6 months, and you think that, oh, I need to be able to do that in 6 months. But let's say, for example, you're a slow learner, or you're just having more challenges learning the same way as theirs, so that's yours takes you more than expected, and you start to like doubt yourself, like, oh, I don't think I'm really smart, or I don't think that I deserve to be here, or I don't think I'm really good. You have to like set realistic expectations. And how do you do that? You do that simply by understanding, which like I said earlier on, ties down to the first one, embracing your process, understanding how you differ from everybody else, understanding what works for you and what doesn't work for you, and then using that to build yourself. And then the last one is, this is something I see many people guilty of. You work towards something, and once you get that thing, you're jumping to the next one. You're not taking time to really, sit down, let it get into you, like absorb it, and just enjoy it and celebrate it. Like, oh, I really did this thing. Say, for example, you've been trying to get your first job. The previous panel session was talking about starting a career in a fast-paced environment and fast-paced industry. And maybe for the last 6 months, you've been working towards building your skill, and then, trying to get your first job. After 6 months, you finally get your yes. And then 1 month in, you're complaining about how things are very hard. You can't do this, you can't do that in your role. You start to see all the negatives. Meanwhile, if you really look back, it's like the job that you were praying for and you were working really hard for, that's what you are in right now. But you're not looking at that. You're already looking at what the next hurdle is. A lot of people do this. So many times, take your time, sit down, relax, and really like remind yourself, like, oh, this was what I wanted to do. And I'm at that place right now. And I really need to pat myself in the back. You don't have to wait for people to tell you, oh, congratulations, you did this. You can always like pat yourself in the back. One thing that I do around this is I have on my phone, I have an entire note where I write down every single win that I consider a win for me. A win for me can be different for a win for you. For example, if your goal at the start of 2024 was to speak at 5 events, right, and you're speaking at one already, that's a win for you, right? So every single thing I consider a win, I'm always writing it down, and that helps whenever I have like, oh, imposter syndrome. I just go back there and I'm looking at it. And I'm like, yeah, like this is not imposter syndrome. Like I'm not an imposter. I'm really good at what I do, right? Um, Now remember that even with you knowing these skills, you being able to like tackle imposter syndrome, there's still like a ton of work to be done. And I'm taking us a little bit back to where I talked about the population of Africa, where by 2030, half of the population of in Africa is going to be largely youth. Now imagine what that would do for us. Right. This means that there's going to be so much innovation coming from our continent, like I mentioned earlier. And if we as women are not at the forefront of that, after a while, we're going to be relegated. And this is why we're doing well within at Chico Africa. But then it doesn't stop at us. We will do our best to make sure that you're getting the skills, you're getting the opportunities, but you also have to play a part here, right? Well, why do you need to get involved in this? We need improved decision making. We need decisions that are going to favor us as women. We need decisions and policies that will not just favor us in the workplace, but we need decisions and policies. We need innovations that would also favor us in general. Another thing is we need to see more women making an impact. In 10 years' time, when your child asks you, okay, mom, what did you do the last 10 years or something like that, you can be able to say it doesn't have to be something very huge or significant, but you can be able to say, oh, I did so and so thing, or oh, I contributed to this. And even if it's something huge, that's even better. Say, oh, I contributed to the development of this system, of this technology, of this idea, of this funding, I ran this business, all of those things, making an impact. We need to see more women be accounted for in things like this. Another thing is, you get to become a role model in your chosen field, and that not just helps you, in growing in your skills, but it also helps you in your career development. Once people begin to see you as a thought leader in your field, more opportunities come to you easily. You don't have to stress yourself about it. People want you to come speak at their events. People want to fly you out to speak at their events. People want to pay you to participate in something, etc. There's so many, positive benefits, like I said, and then you get like access to growth and resources and different opportunities. Now, how do you get involved? One is you have to build those skills, which is it's very, very important. Without those skills, you can keep saying, "Oh, I'm not an imposter," but to be honest, without those skills, you're an actual imposter. Before you start saying, "Oh, I'm expressing imposter syndrome," but meanwhile, you don't even have those skills to say that you're expressing any imposter syndrome because you're an actual imposter. So you need to build those skills. That's why we're having this tech symposium. For day one, there's some conversations around this from day two, just tomorrow. They're going to be having workshops that would help you build your skills in different areas as well. Another thing is you need to be innovative. When you're in rooms, let your voices be heard. Come up with ideas. Don't limit yourself and say, oh, people are going to shut it down or they're going to think that this idea was a very bad one or let me not even waste my time. Be innovative, be creative, with your ideas, build lasting solutions. And even if it fails, build again. Everybody fails at different points in time, but doesn't mean that stops them. What defines you as a winner is that you do not stop at every single failure, but you could either take a pause and then you start all over again. Another thing is for you to like advocate within your spaces, challenge bias and stereotypes at your workplace, in your school, in your environment. And by advocating, it means to like help us get more women like you into that field as well. Use your social platforms, amplify your opinions, your actions, your thoughts that what you're doing to get more girls into STEM, to get more, to build your ideas and your creativity. And then last thing is, advocate for policies that promote more gender equality. Because at the end of the day, all these things that we're doing, if we don't have these policies in place to support us, it's almost a waste of time, right? And it's a reminder that as African women, we are not just stepping into tech. We are also leading the charge with innovation that's going to shape the future. So at the end of the day, it's up to us to take that bold step to say we want to come out of our shells, want to be creative, want to come up with ideas with skills that we have, and we also want to lead in spaces where our voices were not heard in the past. So thank you so much again. My name is Adanka Oyo. You can connect with me on any of the social media platforms. And I'm so sorry if this conversation was very, very fast because I have another meeting that I had to jump in. But I'm happy to take in any questions. You can reach out to me on social media or on LinkedIn, and I'm happy to continue conversations on there. Thank you so much, Mary Blessing.
Thank you so much, Ada, for gracing us with your presence and for that wonderful presentation. Oh my God, I feel so charged. And I'm hoping ladies out there are also like feeling charged and ready to like make some change, and make some improvements and impacts within the ecosystem. Thank you once again. We'll allow you run to your meeting now. All
All right,
right.
bye.
Bye. All right, ladies. So, what a one! It's been a wonderful time with every speaker that has graced our stage today. I hope you all has had like a wonderful and beautiful time. Listening to them, hearing them share their experience, perspective towards things. Right. We're supposed to have a games at this time, but we're running out of time, and as we all know, as I earlier mentioned, the schedule for today, we have a workshop on machine learning exactly at 2 p.m. So I would like to wrap up today's session so that people who registered for that workshop can go prepare and also join in on Zoom, you know, join in on Zoom and be a part of that session. All right. Please connect with our speakers. Just give me a minute. They did drop their LinkedIn, Twitter. So this is for Anthea, and uh, this is for Wafa. And Afi also dropped hers, and you can connect with them. Yeah, you can shoot them any questions if you would like to maybe collaborate on something. I'm pretty sure they are open to ideas, and collaborations. We just have to do stuff together as African women in tech, right? So please connect with them. All right. I'm going to be ending and wrapping up today's session. It was really lovely being your host and moderator for today's Mid-Year Tech Symposium. We are really looking forward to having this every year, right? Where we touch on hands-on technologies, or rather hands-on experience, on different or key technologies shaping our world as we know it today. Tech. And for this year, we'll be touching on back-end development, 3D modeling, and machine learning. So if you register for the machine learning workshop, it's happening today by 2 p.m. WAT. So please, there has been a Google invite sent to your respective emails, right? So please check it out and join the session at exactly 2 p.m. All right. So thanks, ladies, once more. I remain your humble community manager. And if you have specific questions for any of the speaker, please, you can reach out to me if you can get in touch with them. And I would, pass on that question or that comment, to them. And for the back end session on authorization and authentication, we're going to fix another time to have that particular session. It seemed very, very interesting. And I would really like for us to continue that some other time. All right. Yeah. All right. Thanks, ladies. Thank you all once again. And I'm going to go ahead and play my song.
Pretty in your love is all I do for the living. I tempted to touch your foreign booty. If I kill him all, still love like that. Full of love for back. Oh baby, this love is real. I give you all my body, I'm official. Don't love like Oba, boy I got my shot. Yeah, you forgot that, but I don't say you like her. Mani magali, let out your lama. But around to make us spray you on my dollar now. Parade for my body, yeah. Top I got to make it on my biggie. Oh, Gechi, come on. Anyway, come on. I don't go lie, I need your love, I need your love, I need your love, I need your love. Oh, Gechi, come on.